Hi, my name is Horatio Trust, and I'm the founder of Unmock.io. At Unmock, we're mocking the internet one API at a time so that you don't have to. You're probably familiar with the following scenario. You have a unit test, you run it, and it crashes because under the hood it calls some third-party API that you can't access on your dev machine. Not fun. You could try to mock the API, which is pretty tedious and boring and error-prone, and you'd probably wind up reverse engineering whatever service you're using. Or you could use Unmock. Unmock is a drop-in replacement for the internet. Let's see how it works. First, we add Unmock. Then, we run it before all tests. And now, the tests are passing. Pretty cool, huh? Unmock is smart enough to see that you were creating a user via auth0. It mocks auth0's return data, mixes it with your data like username and email, and sends a sensible result. It's that easy. Of course, you may want to edit your mock. No problem. You saw when we ran the test that Unmock gave you a link you can use to edit the incoming data. So let's do that. Now we can verify that it sends back the new password. And it does. You may also want to save a copy of your mock locally at some point. Just call unmock save and we'll download one into the unmock directory. Don't forget to check it into version control. Every unit test tells a story, and in Unmock we preserve the sequence of your tests so that you can effortlessly go through the history of API calls and verify that you're getting the right data. This is especially useful when combined with unmocked tweaks. In most real-world scenarios, your unit test will need a mocked API to have a bit of logic under the hood to do things like remember a new user or sign someone out. No problem. With unmocked tweaks, you can use small serverless functions to tweak test data as it's being called. Here, for fun, let's make the password a timestamp. Now we can do things like testing that the password timestamp was created recently. The biggest benefit of Unmock tweaks is that it allows you to mock up server logic really fast. This means that development teams working on back-end and front-end projects can operate from a single source of truth and test against it. Of course, mocking an entire REST or GraphQL API is tedious, so we make that easy for you by generating fake data from your spec. Just upload a Swagger or GraphQL file via the CLI, tell us the endpoint it should mock, and we'll generate mock data out of the box. Trust me, this will save you a ton of time. But what about production? We've all deployed stuff to production only to find that whatever you mock in your test isn't actually what's going on in the real world. In production, the Unmock agent uses machine learning to monitor your outgoing API calls and compares them to the history of your tests to make sure that the real world resembles the mocks. If there are any surprises, like null fields you didn't count on or empty strings or whatever, we'll let you know. Unmock is currently in closed beta, but we are onboarding around 50 developers a week as we scale up the number of APIs mocked in our database. We would love for you to try out Unmock and give us your feedback. You'll also get a sweet discount when the service launches publicly, 2 months of our developer tier for free. Now that's pretty awesome. So what are you waiting for? Sign up for the Unmock beta and stop mocking the internet. That's our job.